Hello, welcome to Mammal's Life. I am Mammal and welcome. I greatly appreciate you joining me. So I'm here to talk about the letter that Matt Pesh wrote to Kelli Copter. Before I get started on that, though, I wanted to mention what happened at La Poubelle, the most recent one. When Streets LA, I was actually going between watching all the different YouTube channels, Streets LA, Confident Chris, Hellcat. I don't know who all I watched, but anyway, they saw the person that threw the cigarette the other night. And it's my understanding there was no back door. So the person was in La Poubelle, and Streets told the police, and there were like, what, 6, 7? I mean, do they really need that many police for something like this? I guess in LA they do. So anyway, the police saw the video, saw what the person looked like. They went into La Poubelle, came back out and said they couldn't see the person. There's no back door. The person was in there. The protesters were watching from the moment that that person went into La Poubelle, and that person never came out. So that person was in La Poubelle. And then the one policeman, he watched more videos and everything, and he said that he couldn't arrest that person because all the videos he watched did not show that the cigarette actually hit somebody. But there were 10 witnesses, at least. Does witnesses not mean anything anymore? They mean something in a court of law. You know, why can't that be part of their statement to the police? And so basically they left, and they just were leaving, or they were down a ways or maybe already in their car, and that person that threw the cigarette came out, and so the protesters were filming the person running to the car, and the gal's like, let me in, let me in. Anyway, you know, people need to learn their lesson. You know, and the LAPD, I was seriously thinking that they were starting to change, that they were starting to do their job and to do what's right and to follow the law. You know, if you're going to follow the law, LAPD, on someone who has attacked another person, or not follow the law, you know, how you treat the attackers has not been the same way that you deal with the person who's been attacked. It's becoming quite the reputation of the LAPD, and I've said it in a past video, you know, you're the victim, you call the police come, and then they arrest the victim when the victim didn't do anything. So anyway, shout out to Streets LA and Hellcat and Jessica, all of the protesters out in Hollywood. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. So anyway, shout out to Kelli Copter. I do watch her. I am subscribed to her. I rarely comment on most of the people I watch, but she's just always been one of my favorites. And I got a message from somebody that said that they had subscribed to me because they saw me on Kelli Copter's recent video. And I'm like, what? No way. And so I found the video and I watched, and sure enough, Kelli used a little clip of one of my videos, which I'm very thankful for. Kelli is in my opinion, a very amazing young woman. I mean, she's beautiful. She's very talented. I'm sure some of you have seen some of the videos that she puts together. She does a really, really good job. And she just seems so sweet. She seems to always be coming from a place of love, respect, and you can't help but admire that. So anyway, Matt Pesh, Amy Scobie's husband, sent Kelli a letter, and I'm going to read that letter to you. So it says, "Hi, Kelli. Because of the magnitude of both your innocence and ignorance, I cannot dislike you. As a point, no one has worked harder and done more to expose the abuses of Miscavige and Scientology than Mike Rinder over the last 2 decades. You can start with 3 seasons and 37 shows on Scientology in the aftermath that was later carried by A&E, Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, and is still being shown. Those shows have reached millions of people in many different countries. It required a lot of work and time away from his family. He has helped legal counsel in just about every case involving Scientology in the last 2 decades. That includes helping Debbie Cook when Scientology attacked her. Mike has talked with top media and law enforcement around the world in order to expose Scientology and get their tax exemption taken away. Mike laid out in detail what happened in regards to Miriam. Did you read it? ? He isn't withholding some document she needs! ! He spent a lot of time trying to help her. How did that work out? ? How do you think that made him feel? Poor Aaron? ? The truth about that guy will have to be laid out at the proper time. Of all the people I have known, I only put him, Aaron Smith-Levin, behind Miscavige on the line of despicable. I don't say that lightly. No, you don't say it lightly. There's so much dark in that statement. There's no light about it. We have more individuals coming to us for help than ever before. It is literally almost daily. Some have only been in Scientology somewhere for 6 months and some for decades. It takes work to find out who they are, what they want, if it's a certain type of therapy is approved by the FDA, is it safe, what is the possible liability to the foundation, if they need job training or education, where is that best done, who runs and helps them in a crisis, who middlemans the purchasing, the help so cash isn't passed out to be misused, who keeps all the financial records and accounting. My point is there is a lot of time and work. The work is unpaid and voluntary. Really, Matt, we didn't know that. The members have their own lives, families, the members have their own businesses, families, and lives to maintain at the same time. Didn't know that either. I am serious in my offer to propose to the board members that you replace Mike Rinder, if you are willing. Expect it to be more emotionally draining than being sent to the worst RPF for doing something that you didn't do. Crying is guaranteed. Direct attacks by OSA is nothing. It is the attacks by those who should be on your side that work tirelessly to help that rips your guts out. Do you want the job, Kelli? ? I am serious. Wow. You write as a point, Matt. Here's the point. You don't get the point. Mike Render doesn't. None of you on the foundation get the point. No one needs to hear Mike Render's resume. We don't need to hear about what it's like to be a volunteer for free. We all know that. And we all greatly appreciate everything Mike Render has done to further the cause of Scientology losing their tax exemption. We all love all the work that you've all done to further that cause. That is not the point, Matt. Jeez, I just get so ticked off. I've said it before in another video. I've heard many people say that Scientology cannot get out of their own way. Mike Render couldn't get out of his own way. He just made things worse. And now Matt isn't getting out of his own way. You write this letter to Kelli. It is insulting, to say the least. You're putting people down, meaning you're putting Aaron down. You know? Boo frickin' who? Y'all need to grow up, and you need to get the point. I realize that you've all been in Scientology, and you all were victims of all the abuses and the brainwashing. But you all been out for quite a while now, and you need to quit insulting other victims of Scientology. Quit insulting them, quit throwing people under the bus. Nobody cares, in particular, that Aaron was kicked off the board. But what you did and the way you went about it is despicable. And I'm not even going to compare it to David Miscavige, because that's about as low as you can get. I am totally disgusted by you referring to Aaron as a second to Miscavige. You know, Aaron's not the one who went behind people's backs and got them thrown off a volunteer foundation. You know? What about Aaron's resume? Here's the thing. Aaron was also a victim of Scientology. He's been out for so many years, deprogramming. You're all still deprogramming. That is absolutely obvious because of the way you talk and respond to people. You know, but well, let me just read. Kelli, you can go on YouTube and see the whole response of Kelli. It's long, and so I couldn't get it printed out. It just came out really small, and I couldn't read it for some reason. So it would be too much for me to just go through and write the whole thing. But I did take a couple excerpts out of Kelli's response, and her response to Matt offering her to take Mike Render's place on the foundation. She said, "I have been labeled part of a hate group, and for that I respectfully decline." Good for you, Kelli. Kelli understands. Kelli gets the point. You know, you don't want people on the board with where they make the optics look really bad, like you all have. You know, again, I'll say it. It wasn't that you wanted Aaron off the board. It's how you did it, how you went about it. And then you go on YouTube? What, you couldn't keep your mouths shut? And you go on and you make this statement and you're like, oh, we wish nothing but the best for Aaron and this. And boy, in between all those little statements you make, you're freaking giving it to him. You're sticking it to him. You're throwing him under the bus. Why didn't you just keep your mouths shut? You know, I don't particularly care about some of the situations Aaron's got himself into. You know, is he naive? I think a little bit. Maybe that most likely has to do with him being brought up in a cult, you know. And, you know, when you get out of a cult, you know, sometimes, in my understanding, it can take many, 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 many years before you're completely removed from that thinking and trying to live in the world and, you know, be more aware of things and how people can be and all that. And I think that Aaron's marital stuff, it's none of our business. That's his business. That's not our business. Yet, after your statements, he had to come on and pretty much defend himself. He didn't need to mention about his marital situation, but he chose to be honest with us. And so that is why we gravitate towards Aaron. He shows his honesty. He shows his vulnerability. Even though he, you know, things might make him look bad, he puts it out. He puts it all out there. People gravitate towards that. And I just think you need to zip it when it comes to Aaron. Quit throwing him under the bus. You know, the optics of the whole Aftermath Foundation to all of us out here is you threw Aaron out so that you all, with your bestie friends and all your married couples, could be together and just get rid of, you know, other people. So I'm going to read what Kelli wrote. Excuse me, I'm going to readjust myself here. So this is one of Kelli's responses to Matt's letter. You mentioned Aaron and how despicable you feel he is. Next in line to Miscavige. Wow. I have never called anyone such a name. Practice what you preach, sir. I second that. Practice what you preach, Mr. Pesh. You are another board member who is now insulting a survivor and a contributor to Leah Remedy in the Aftermath, Scientology in the Aftermath show. It is unprofessional and does not represent your charity well. That's the point, Mr. Pesh. You all keep taking digs at everybody, insulting everybody, throwing everyone under the bus who you were supposed to, protect to a point. What foundation does that? You are doing, the more you all talk, the more you are just throwing yourselves under the bus. We're sick of hearing it from you guys. I can't speak for everybody, but most of us, we don't hate Mike Rinder. We don't hate you. We don't hate anybody. We understand a lot more than you give us credit for. We're not mad because you wanted Aaron off the board. But the same reasons you want Aaron off the board is the same thing that you all are acting out. I mean, I would never want any of you to be on a board of my foundation because you all don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to respond properly. That's the point. Now, Matt gave Mike Render's whole resume. He is great. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's done all this stuff. We know that, and it's greatly appreciated by everyone. Again, that's not the point. Kelli goes on to say, Aaron has made huge efforts to raise money for the Aftermath Foundation and raise its profile. He sure has. I hope his efforts are not forgotten. Do we need to give you Aaron's resume and all the wonderful things he did? You obviously need us to tell you. So, you need to just say, Aaron, thank you. Thank you so much for all the money you helped raise and all the, how you got the word out to so many more people. Thank you. And leave it at that. Zip it. You all are only digging your own grave. That's what you're doing. You're ruining it for the foundation you are in charge of. That's the point. You all need, you all need to go take a class on life and maybe a communications class. I don't understand why you guys don't understand what is so wrong with how you're responding to people and insulting people. Who would want to come to your foundation if they knew all the things you were saying and how you were saying it? And I will say this again, I've said it on a previous video. If someone reaches out for help, people in Scientology, it's my understanding, they really don't know what's going on out here. And let's say they hear of this Aftermath Foundation and they'll help you get away from Scientology. They'll help you get your life in order if you leave. And they reach out and, they get the help. And maybe they don't know Mike Render's on the board. Maybe they had some really bad dealings with him in the past. Some people might be completely afraid of him. That's the point. There's several points, but the main point is you got to understand what you guys are doing and how wrong it is. I don't know. It really ticks me off. You just need to really start thinking about your words before you spit it out there. And stop talking about Aaron. Stop insulting X Scientologist. The same people you're supposed to be helping. Quit insulting them. That includes Aaron. That includes Kelli. That includes anybody and everybody that you feel the need to insult. Maybe have a non-Scientologist read your letters that you send out. Maybe run it past them before you speak. Maybe you should have a couple non-Scientologists on the board that can help you all put out letters and respond to people, because they will know the right words to use, because you guys obviously don't. Again, there's no hate there. There is, the thing is that I know that myself, and there are quite a few other people that were subscribed to Blown for Good, Mike Render, and we would have never stopped being subscribed. We wouldn't have stopped it just because of Aaron. We would have kept watching until you came on YouTube and said the things you said, you know. But now you're attacking Kelli, and it's just getting ridiculous. I look forward to when Aaron starts his new foundation, because I think the guy has got good common sense. Granted, he's made some bad choices, probably due from some being a little bit naive and trusting too much. But I do think he's an upstanding young man, and I think that he, with his common sense, I mean, he's already said, you know, the people that will be on the board are going to be diverse, including a non-Scientologist, I think he said. He understands that. He understands the optics. He understands the value in having different people. Not just, oh, I'm going to have my married friends, my besties all come and join and nobody else can. It's just, you know, married couples only club. You know, that's the point, Matt Pesh. I don't know. Oh. I would, all the things that I have learned about David Miscavige, even from your mouth, Matt Pesh, and other people, Mike Renders and Mark and Claire, all of you, I've learned about a lot about David Miscavige. To call somebody else, to label somebody else, anybody, as second to Miscavige, that's pretty cold. That's pretty cold. I think the only person second to David Miscavige is those that ranked high up into the Scientology world, that were in charge of covering things up, hiding things. You wouldn't put those people as second? Really? Interesting. That says a lot about your character, Matt Pesh. Anyway, it just really ticks me off. I could go on about this all day. But everyone, go give some love to Kelli Copter. She is just amazing. And show her some love. Show some love to all the protesters out in Hollywood. You know, they always need our support too. And you guys, thank you for listening to me rant and rave a little bit. And I hope you have a very good night. Thanks again. See you next time. Always remember to be kind.